Yes.
So let me share my screen. Yesterday we were doing more on into the introduction part. Today we are starting from a scratch. So this training is going to be a combination of Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Google. So first few hours we'll be spending on more on the technical side or the fundamental side on the cloud computing. Then I'll be moving on into the networking. Then I'll be moving on into the multi-cloud model. That means AWS and GCP. That is the way the session is being planned. Yesterday we had a discussion about different certifications or how Microsoft is been aligned technical programs or a trainings on in a Microsoft. And we had a discussion about how network journey has been planning to deliver this session. So these are the few modules. Yesterday we had a discussion. Today we are going to discuss something different, especially we are moving on into the cloud side. Let me share my screen. Now we are starting our sessions from the basics or a scratch. All of us are moving on into a cloud computing. We understood cloud is going to be the next journey, or cloud is going to be the hot cake in the market. Or you may be heard in all the projects or in accounts, organization are pushing or moving on into a cloud computing. Now we are getting a question here. In case if you're moving on into a cloud computing, what is the existing model currently you are using on in a cloud infrastructure or in a IT infrastructure? So the first module or the first discussion right now we are trying to do it's about understanding about the current model which has been currently available in existing projects or in existing accounts or in a customer place. So we are starting a session with a topic called traditional IT deployment model. So let me ask you a question here. Right now, all of us are discussing about moving on into a cloud computing. Now, what is the existing model has been available in a customer place? If you take any customer place, there are two type of the model you may be able to see in a customer place. One is being knowing as a on-premises solutions or some of the books or some of the internet blog. You may be able to see this has been mentioned as something called as CPE. So right now, if you take any organization, there are two type of the models which you can able to see it in a customer place. One is known as on-premises solution, and the second one is been known as a colocation model. So right now, I'm getting a question here. Right now, all of us are discussing about moving on into a cloud computing. So the whole world has been discussing on into moving on into a cloud technology here. Let me share my screen. Just give me a second.
Sir, is it same as AWS?
So I just checking with the technical team. Since there is some comments which we got on the chat, there is some echo issues. That just checking with the technical team. So right now I was saying, when you take any model, we are discussing about moving on into a cloud technology. So I was asking everyone here, what is the type of the infrastructure currently you have available in a customer place? You may be able to see you have a on-prem model is been available. You have something called as collocation model also. So if you take any IT infra, you can able to see there are two model. One is been knowing as a on-prem. Second one is been knowing as a something called as a collocation model. So right now, if you take any organization, technically this has been moving, or right now it's been able to see, like if you take any organization, you can able to see there are two type of the model which you can able to see on in a customer place. One is been knowing as a collocation model, and the second one is been knowing on as a on premises one. Now if you take any organization, we will be moving, or we will be doing a migration from a on premises to cloud, or we will be moving from a collocation to cloud. So this is the kind of migrations, or this is the kind of connectivity which you can able to see it in a customer place. Now right now we understood, if you take any IT infrastructure, there are three type of the model which you are going to use it in a customer place. If you take any organization, you will be able to see three type of model. One is been knowing as a on-prem, second one is been knowing as a collocation model, and the third one is going to be something called as a cloud computing. Now I'm getting a question. What is a on-prem model? Can you comment it on in a chat? If someone is saying like a on-premises model, what is your understanding from that? In case if you are saying a on-prem model, what is the meaning of that? You can able to see, like if you take any on-premises model, what is your understanding from that? In case if you are seeing something called as a on-prem, what is the meaning of that? So you can able to see, like you have on-premise. In case if you are seeing a on-premises, what is a what so what is your understanding?
Is it's in a DC or own where the hosted in a DC.
Something that is managed by a customer and owned by customer. That is on-prem. So that's just the company like Microsoft or some other company or third-party vendors who own the infrastructure themselves, who manage the infrastructure themselves. That is on-prem.
One suggestion we got, it's been owned or it's been managed by us. Okay, that's a good comment. Other than that, managed by us. Okay, what else? Any other suggestion from anyone? So have you heard about like a on-premises, or if you take an organization, you may be able to see this has been mentioned as data center or data room. Some of the organization on-premise has been represented, or people will be using a term called data center or data room. So in a live scenario or in a real-time scenario, as a cloud SME or as a cloud network expert or an architect, we are going to deal with data center, data room, and the cloud infrastructure. Either you will be migrating from a data center or a data room to a cloud, or you will be using a hybrid connectivity to connect to data center or a data room. So the question right now we are getting here, what is the meaning of on-prem infrastructure. That will help you to understand how it's been different from your cloud infrastructure. So we got a one comment on in a call. It's been managed by us. Other than that, how are you have? Do you have any other different opinion or a different viewpoints? Any other suggestions or any points from anyone? Any other suggestion from anyone? So I'm not seeing that comment. So possible like I can able to see the few people has been posted comments on the chat. Um, I request this has been posted as a directly to this one. Request everyone to use an option called everyone. So request the support team to enable the option of everyone here because I can see there are many people who's been commented on the chat. I got a screenshot of that, but unfortunately, I was not getting that option. So I was not seeing that message. Anyway, I can see from the comment people who have been commented like IT has been owned by us. IT has been yes. Now you can okay, great. So what I was trying to say here is the on-premises is one of the model. Uh, right now you can able to see it on in a customer place here, where we can able to manage. It's been completely managed by us. That basically known as on-premise solutions here. So on-premise data center or CP is the model currently you can able to see in a customer place. So let me take you into the presentation. So if you go to any customer place, the first solution you are going to see it on in a customer place. It's about on-premises solution. So right now from the discussion or the debate, we understood uh, if you have a solution which has been available in a on premises, it's our own premises that basically known as on premises solution or CPE. So if you take a data center or a data room or the IT infrastructure which you are going to use it in your uh, IT infrastructure, whatever assets, it can be a server or it can be a rack or it can be a switches or it can be a firewall. All these devices is going to be hosted inside your own building that basically known as a data center or a data room. So you may be able to see isolated room or isolated place available where we have a restriction is been completely has been authorized. So that kind of a model basically known as on-premises solution. Now the second point you need to understand when you're going for taking an on-premises solution, whatever equipments it's been on or whatever equipments is been available inside that infrastructure, it's been completely owned by you. So whatever servers or whatever routers or a IT infrastructure or IT asset is been available, that has been completely it's been owned by the customer itself. So that is an important point you need to remember. Clear? So all the equipments inside that it's been handled by us. Second one, it's been like it's been the owner or the capex cost is been owned by us. Third point you need to understand at any point of time if the customer is been looking for some kind of uh, technology refreshment, you may be able to see like if you're taking your laptop every year or whenever you have a performance issue, we used to go for a resource upgradation, right? Either it can be a CPU or it can be a RAM or it can be a disk, or you may be making some kind of a configuration change on in the servers. So when it is coming on in a on-premises solutions, it's been completely managed by in case if you want to go for any kind of a technology refreshment, I can say it's been like the word is called technology refreshment. I'm just giving a scenario here. Mohit has been deployed a server here. Now after some time, Shihabuddin has been coming and saying, hey Mohit, your server has been not performing well. I'm facing some kind of IO issues, or my website has been giving a some kind of a performance issue. So I need to go for upgradation. So who will be responsible here? Is it a Microsoft, or is it a AWS, or is it a Google? Yes, definitely it is going to be the responsibility of us, or responsibility of who is been owning here. So definitely they'll be having a responsibility has been coming on in the technology refreshment. So what I'm trying to say here is, when you're using an on-premises solution, end-to-end responsibility, which has been starting from hosting the device on in a data center, and if any changes or a reconfiguration, or any can be upgrade or can be a downgrade, everything has been responsibility of us. So now you may be getting a question: if something goes wrong, who will be taking care of fault tolerance or HA or its availability? Even responsibility of redundancy or HA or any kind of availability, that also has been responsibility of us. You can able to see the redundancy or a technology refreshment, that also it's been a responsibility of us. So that is the case of in a on-premises solution. So if you take any organization, if it's been completely owned by us, that basically known as on-premises solution, there you will be able to hear about one more financial term here. One is called capex cost. Capex is basically, there are two finance terms which you can able to see in a customer place or in a cloud scenarios. One is been known as capex, and second one is been known as opex. Capex stands for capital expenditure. When you start, or when you start running a data center or a data room, whatever investment is been doing initially, you may be putting a lot of long-term investment, right? Whatever amount or whatever the finance you've been spending for purchasing a server or a rack or a storage device, all it can be considered under the capex cost. At the same time, when you want to run this business, or when you want to run this operation, you are spending some amount or expense for your day-to-day operations. It can be for paying the salary to the employee, or can be the amount you are paying for the administrators, or whatever billing has been coming, or whatever maintenance cost has been coming, whatever rent you are paying for your facility, all it's been coming under category of opex cost. So what I'm trying to say here is, when you take a on-premises solution, there is a capex cost is been involved. Let me give you a lecture note for this. This will help you to understand better about a on-premises and uh, cloud data center. Just give me a second. Let me give you a few details. Let me give you a few details about on-premises and customer data center. In case if you have any question, let's have parallel. I just pasted a few lecture note for this. So this will be helpful for your understanding about on-premises data center. Let me paste this. We had a discussion about capex and opex also. Let me give you a few lecture note for capex versus opex as well. So this is the details about capex and opex. So capex details has been pasted on the chat. So during the training, whatever notes we are providing here, you will get a PDF copy as well. So we'll be trying to provide the PDF copy also. So right now, just given some lecture note or information. That's for giving you some insight about this topic so far we have been discussed. Any questions from anyone before moving on into the next part? Team, any questions from anyone? If you're good, can you put a like button or a comment on the chat? I hope you are able to follow me. requesting you to confirm on the chat, please. Thank you. So I got one comment on the chat. Thank you. Thank you, team. I just got a few confirmation directly, and yeah, I can see Gary also. It's been commented to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Gary, and thank you, team. So thank you for your feedback. Okay, now right now we understood in an on-premises scenario, we have a server is being hosted inside your in your own data center. Now, what about in a cloud infrastructure where this is being hosted? That's the next question we are getting here. Right now, if you take a cloud data center here, we understood that whenever you go for any kind of a model or in case any kind of a cloud deployment model, we have a on-premises has been available and you have a cloud also it's been available here. Now, when it is coming on in a cloud infrastructure, how this has been different from on-prem model. Now, on an on-premise model, right now we understood in case if you've been hosting any servers, it's been completely on hosted inside your own data center. For example, like if you're configuring a DB server or a Oracle server or a database server, you are getting a complete control over your device. Technically, where this has been hosted or where this has been residing, this has been residing in your own data center or data room. Who has been responsible for managing this server? That's the next question we are getting here. So right now, where this database server or this Oracle server is being hosted, you may be able to see this has been hosted inside a host. On top of that, you are installing your operating system, or on top of that, you are installing your application, or on top of that, you are installing your data. So technically, the physical host can be from a Dell or HP or a Cisco, or it can be from HCL or a different vendor. Uh, the product may be from a, or the asset may be from a different vendor. Technically, this has been physically hosted over, it's been hosted inside your own data center. Now, when it is coming on in a cloud data center scenarios, you are not responsible for managing the host. It's not only on the case of servers. Even if you're using on a networking component, you're not going to manage the router or a switch or whatever network or inter-network devices which you are going to use it on in a cloud. It's going to be completely managed by the cloud service provider. So the moment when you create a VM, you maybe heard about a shortest name, something called as a VM, that's called a virtual machine. The moment when you create a VM, technically this has been created inside CSP data center. CSP data center means that Microsoft or AWS or a Google, they're having a physical data center has been available across the globe. In the case of a Microsoft, this physical data center is been known as Microsoft region. So the technical term we used to use it called a region, the technical terminology which you are going to use it in a Azure scenario, it's called regions. So region is nothing. Microsoft is having physical data center across the globe, and that physical data center has been technically it's been known as Microsoft regions. So the moment when you create any resources, Microsoft is having 60 plus regions, 140 plus physical locations they're having a presence. What is the advantage here? For example, like Mohit want to deploy a server in, or Mandeep is want to deploy a server in South Africa. It's been very easy. You can just go to the cloud portal. From the cloud portal, you'll be able to create a respective VM. Let me give you a demo of this that may be able to help you to understand how technically this has been working. Give me a second. Let me connect to the Microsoft portal here. Give me a second. I'm just waiting for the OTP to receive. I'm just doing this is on in my primary monitor. Let's wait a minute. I hope you can able to see my secondary monitor here. So the first point I want to pass it here. It's right now on the screen you may be able to see there is a browser-based console or a browser-based window you may be able to see here that basically known as Microsoft Azure portal. On in an on-premises scenario, in case if you want to manage any servers, we used to connect directly on into the server using a monitor, or you may be using a remote desktop procedure RDP kind of a window, and with the help of that, you may be connecting. But when it is coming on in a cloud infrastructure, the entire server or the entire asset is been not owned by you. It's been completely available on in a Microsoft data center, basically known as Microsoft Azure region. This has been hosted on in a different place. Basically, like this has been hosted on in a US or in a different location you can able to see. For example, if you go to Microsoft portal, you can able to see Azure regions here. You may be able to see there is a global presence for the cloud computing. You can able to see Microsoft is having a data center across the globe here. Right now, you can able to see when you click on this link. I'm just pasted the link on the chat. So you can able to see Microsoft is having a presence across the globe. They're having office in, they're having a data center in Africa or Australia or a Switzerland or a Canada or a Denmark. A different location you can able to see here. What is the advantage we are getting here? At any point of time, if any of our client is saying, hey Robin, I need to deploy a servers in South Africa, I don't want to go and purchase a data center or a data room in Australia. It's very simple. I need to connect to this portal. I just need to select my VM to be configured on in that location. I can just go here and I can give the name. It's called Australia. Here I'll get a option to select the regions here. Don't worry about these options. During our technical sessions, I'll be explaining you how to connect and how to select the data center, everything. Right now, I just want to pass the message here. You are getting a flexibility to select different data centers here. What is the advantage here? In case if all of your users are from North Europe, there is no point of keeping your server in Chennai, or there's no point of keeping your server in Delhi or Philippines or in Canada. Depends upon from the where the user is being connected. You can place the servers on the same region or near to your region also. That will help us for improving the performance. In a day-to-day operations, one of the common concerns we used to get it from a client or a customer was latency issue. Because of a latency issue, customer may be saying like, hey Robin, there is a performance is not good. I'm facing some delay. My server is not performing well. So what I'm trying to say here, it's the one of the advantage which you are going to get it from cloud is that global reach. Microsoft is having locations on in a different regions or a different locations or in a country. That will help us to deploy your infrastructure on the same region where the user is been residing, rather than placing the server on in a different location and finally ending with all kind of the performance issues. So we are trying to do a comparison here, how on-premises and how cloud is been different. So right now you may be understood, in case if I need to deploy any server here, I need to have an internet connection, or I need to have a VPN connection, or I need to have a internet working connections to be available to connect to Microsoft data center here. So whatever devices which you are going to deploy here, right now you may be able to see how a virtual machine has been available here. For example, like in case if you are configuring a load balancer, or in case if you are deploying a firewall, instead of deploying a physical device, this has been completely deployed with a virtual devices. So whatever load balancers or a firewall or any kind of a network equipments or a security equipments if you are using, it's been completely managed with the help of a management portals here. When you consider about a Microsoft Azure, you may be able to see there are different management portals are available. You have a Microsoft Azure portal has been available. Right now, you may be able to see using a graphical user interface. We have been connected. You may be able to see on in a live scenario. You have a other tools also available. Like you may be heard about a tool called PowerShell, or you may be heard about a tool called Bash, or you may be heard about a tool called CLI or SDK. There are many management tools are available in a day-to-day operation, which will help us to manage this entire infrastructure. Now, right now, the discussion was been doing around uh, on-premises versus cloud infrastructure. So right now, on in an on-premises situation, we understood the entire infrastructure or the entire cloud or entire, uh, if you take any entire IT asset, is being completely owned by us. But when it is coming on in a cloud infrastructure, this is being not handled by us. This has been completely managed by, it's been completely managed by the uh, cloud service provider here. So that is an important point you need to remember here. So when you want to go for any kind of a management, it's been completely managed by us here, or the cloud service provider. So that is the important point we need to understand on in a cloud infrastructure. Clear? Any questions from anyone? So it can be a physical host, or it can be a firewall, or it can be load balancer, or it can be a database or a Oracle. All this is being completely managed by the cloud service provider. So we are not responsible for any kind of the asset management here. Now, another important point you need to remember here. Right now, we understood on in a cloud infrastructure, there are different management tools are available. Now, in case if you want to use this one, you need to have an account to be available. It's not that someone can just go to portal.azure.com and we can power on, or you can deploy any kind of IT infrastructure. Technically, this will be not possible. You may be seeing this is in a your cloud Azure fundamental sessions. We need to have a server is to be available, uh, where you can have a where you can able to see like you have a server is been available, where you can have a uh, uh, account is being needed. Only with the help of an account only you can able to connect to the servers, right? So it's not that it just you cannot just go to a cloud portal and where you cannot go and implement any servers or a firewall or any kind of resources. So this needs to be managed, or this needs to be handled with the help of only account, or with the help of a subscription only. You may be seeing like when you start using Amazon Prime Video, or when you start using a Netflix kind of a videos, you may be seeing like in case if you want to use that, you need to have a subscription is been available, right? When you want to use it, say Amazon or any kind of a videos or any kind of a OTT platform, you need to have a tool is being needed. Like you need to have a Amazon or a Netflix or a Z or a Hotstar. In case if you want to use all these things, you need to have a uh, subscription or account is being needed. So on the case of a on-premises, you don't need any kind of a, solutions like a subscription or account. It's not mandatory here. But on the case of a cloud, it's mandatory that you need to have a subscription or account to be available. Then only you will be able to manage the servers here. So that is an important point you need to remember on in a cloud infrastructure. Let me pause it here for taking your questions. So far, any questions from anyone? If you're good, can you just comment it on the chat? Any questions from anyone? All good. Thank you. Thank you, Mohit, Mori, and please. Thank you. You can able to see it's in. Okay, so it's been good.
All good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All good.
Okay, thank you. So I hope no questions on that. Do we need to know JSON any language to learn Azure? So we are getting a one question from Mr. Jayant. No, Jayant. For when you start when you're planning to start your cloud journey, initially you don't need to have any scripting language uh, on the basic fundamental sessions. For basic management or administration, even your graphical user interface knowledge is been sufficient. But in future, when you move on into a automation or a DevOps side, then you need to have a PowerShell or automation or a Jenkins or a JSON skill is been needed. So in the future, when you are planning to have your career to switch into a automation field, then it's been really this kind of a skill is needed. So any other questions from anyone?
Yes, Maury here. I have a question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, awesome. So basically, what can you tell me the difference between a cloud engineer and a cloud network engineer? What is the difference between these two people?
Okay, your question has been coming on in a cloud engineer and a cloud network engineer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, this basically has been coming on in a complex infrastructure. When you go back to your office or when you start working on in a project, you may be able to see there are different type of the IT infrastructure. It can be a small or a medium based, or it have a complex based infrastructure. Now, when it is coming on in a complex infrastructure or a accounts or a projects, there you will have a dedicated team who will be managing infrastructure. You will have a separate team available for identity management, and you will have a separate team who is been responsible for managing network components. Now, on your on existing data center, you may be having a dedicated team who has been working as a system administrator, right? You may be able to see like a system admin whose responsibility is to manage servers, installation of a servers, or a deployment of a servers, or uninstallation of servers, configuring a web server, etc. And in your same office, you may be having a network expert has been available whose responsibility has been managing network infrastructure, like managing router or managing switches, configuring routing protocols, or managing any kind of a LAN connectivity, right? Similar kind of a role you can able to see on in a cloud infrastructure also. If you're seeing a cloud admin, normally they used to manage the ISaaS components like a VM or a VM management or a deletion or a creation or a configuring any kind of a disk. All this is the responsibility of a cloud admin. Network admin is basically responsible for managing a firewall. They'll be responsible for designing or defining your IP address or a schema or a subnet mask. They will be responsible for managing monitoring and troubleshooting of your network connectivity. They are responsible for interconnecting different data center across the Microsoft. This is all responsibility of cloud networking team. So basically, they are going to deal with network resources. So that is an important point you need to uh, see in a real-time scenario. So you have a cloud admin and you have a cloud networking team also it's been available. And you may be able to see cloud architects also who will be responsible for designing and implementing the solutions. So that is an important point you can able to see here. So there is a difference you can able to see. So Jayant is asking in a scenario like he is saying giving a scenario on in a data center, right? So he's saying like in a hybrid scenario. Let me go through that. In a hybrid scenario, you want to connect to a different this one. So basically, Jane, you will be using a concept called site-to-site VPN, or you have an option called as a express route, or you have something called as a WAN connectivity, like a, SD WAN, or you may be having a concept like a MPLS, or you have a concept like VNet peering kind of concept you will be using for connecting this one. Is this course is been intended for architect for a cloud engineer? Yes. Uh, we are getting a question. Yes, the course which you're going to, the topic which you're going to cover it here, we'll be starting from a Azure basic fundamentals. Then we'll be going on into the networking side. Then we'll be moving on Azure security, then AWS and GCP architect also. So this is the way the course is being structured here. So it's been coming around 3 modules: Azure, AWS, and GCP. So basically, it's been focusing on network and architecting. So both it's been covered here. How much DevOps it's been covered here? Joseph is asking. Is there any kind of no? Joseph, this has been not focusing on a DevOps side. Basically, we are focusing on the architect and designing side. Now, when you if you're looking for a specifically a certification on in a DevOps side, you may have to go for a certifications like a AZ400 or AZ204. These are the 2 exam we are preferring for you. So AZ400 and 204. These are the 2 certifications you can look into that. Any questions from anyone? So right now, just pasting the admission and the pricing and the contact details of our backend team. So whoever is been interested to join these sessions, you can use this URL, or you can use this mobile number, or you can able to use this WhatsApp number. So you can enroll your name for this session. So we'll be starting from tomorrow. There's a live sessions, a live demo will be available, and tomorrow onwards the technical sessions for this Azure security and Azure network will be started. So next we have only 5 minutes been left out. So we'll not be in a position to move it to the next service or a module. So we'll have a discussion tomorrow. So right now I'll be available for answering all your doubts and questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Hi, Sanjay. Good evening.
So are you already enrolled for this training? And I want to know, like, will I get any portal access or any documentation?
Yes, we'll be getting a link for this portal where you can able to repository. Everything will be shared soon. All the PDF or whatever
Okay,
materials you've been using.
okay.
Yes, we'll be getting that. Once the batch session has been live, tomorrow onwards it's been planning. So you will be getting all that emails and details. Right now, the team has been working on in uh, sharing these details already. It's been started. Yes, so this course has been not only focused on Azure, Joseph, it's been focused on AWS and GCP also. So three platform it's been focused. So answering to your question,
Yeah,
yes, you will be getting email, and answering to Joseph mail, yes, it's been focused on multi-cloud model here.
all right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. It's we have taken your feedback or a not point. Yep, thank you. Yes, you can able to do that. So you can connect with the admission team. They will help you on that part. So you can reach out to the admission team. They will help you on that. In case if you are only interested for AWS or interested for a specific topic, you can reach out to the admission team. So thank you, team. So we have been given a small demo of how we are planning to have our sessions. So we'll have a whiteboard and we have a live demos and presentation. So this is the way we are planning to deliver the session here. So starting from scratch, and we are moving slowly on into the technical side and the service side and the configuration side. Thank you. With that note, we are just pausing the day and we'll be starting tomorrow onwards and requesting everyone to reach out to the admission team. They will help you for this enrolling for this training program, and they will be sharing you all the link for joining the sessions where you have a live demo and live session has been uh, available. With that note, we are signing for the day and signing off the day, and let's get tomorrow. Thank you. So we are stopping the recording and ending the session. Thank you.